Alexa, I'm really glad to chat with you today. If you don't know Alexa, check out her Instagram link. It is in the description. But Alexa, what's going on with you? I know it's post Worlds. How has life been?
Um, Life has been pretty good after Worlds. I didn't play Roundnet since Worlds, so I didn't really touch a ball. And yeah, I've been doing some fun stuff and enjoying life.
Lovely. Well, I know most of like what people talk about when it's around it is playing. I wanted to talk a little bit today about some experiences you've had, especially just in Germany around growing community. Uh, in particular, there's not that many people that have been around the sport as long as you have, in Germany in particular. I wanted to hear what have been your experiences aside from all the playing, aside from Worlds, in being part of the Roundnet community.
So I started playing at the beginning of 2019, which is kind of early for Germany, but in comparison to some other players,
Mhm.
especially from the US. I'm still a baby. And yeah, we grew a little community in Gießen, which is a little city right in the middle of Germany. And yeah, we went to our first tournaments together in 2019. And the whole community of Germany was just a small little family. And like to every tournament I went to, it was the same people. And it was always so much fun. There was only co-ed tournaments back then in Germany, like co-ed and men's tournaments,
Mhm.
but mostly just co-ed. And there has been such a big change in tournaments. Women's divisions grew so fast and so quickly, which was so cool to see. Different levels of tournaments, and it's been insane to see how quickly the community in Germany grew. And back then, when I started playing, I couldn't imagine that there would be like 4 different women's divisions at a German tournament, and that
Yeah.
has been really, really cool to see. And then playing Worlds, it's just insane to see how many people really enjoy this game. And from every continent, basically, people came to play. And it's just such a lovely community. And I love spending time with them and just hang out with them. It's so cool.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think a lot of people can relate. Maybe not everybody has that experience of seeing within their own country 4 women's divisions and just that growth. To really focus on that side of the sport, you mentioned at first there were only like co-ed divisions that you could play in. Uh, Not the same as necessarily like mixed, where it has to be one man, one woman. Um, did you have any involvement in trying to push and get more women's divisions opportunities within the community, and or even just growing your community in Gießen back in the day? What kind of involvement did you have off the court, for growing Roundnet and contributing?
hmm So at the like in my first year of playing, I've basically went to every tournament.
Mhm.
And there were people in my town, like girls in my town, and they were like, "Oh, like I think I'm too shy to play, and I don't want to like go there. It's gonna be so embarrassing." And I tried to encourage them to just come and play because once they've been, they weren't scared anymore, and that was so cool to see that even girls who are like, "Oh, I'm not good enough," and blah, that they really enjoyed meeting the community and seeing that everyone was just so welcoming. And then I did some trainings in my town, and sometimes I wish it would have been more often. Did some like women's only trainings
Mhm.
because I feel like women are they think too much. Some think too much about like weird things because they feel embarrassed when they like mess up a point or they hit the rim or something. And I try to encourage some, like back then, some of them to just keep playing and just enjoy the game and don't worry about like things too much.
Yeah, in your experience, I know you mentioned you were like one of the people contributing to this. How many other people did you think were around? It's hard to know. As far as other like women leading and growing their communities, versus my experience. I'm not a woman, so when I grow things, I don't know as many things about growing women's rounded as other than trying to support it. Um, you know, as a supporter, but not actually being in that experience. How many people have you seen kind of step up into those roles where you said I wish I maybe done more women's trainings, but still, some is a lot more than nothing. Was that something that you see more of now, or was there more before in your communities? What has maybe the growth been like around women leading communities and growing communities?
hmm I feel like since there's been so many women's tournaments now in Germany,
Mhm.
that there's just so many women playing. And I don't like, sadly, I don't have a number of women, like active women playing in Germany. But I know that it's getting more and more. And we're offering, like Roundnet Germany is offering a like coach camp where where people can come, like from every community, people can sign up. And Roundnet Germany offers this course for coaches so that they know how to explain stuff, how to like do a training. And I know that there's been quite a few women who signed up, and because they're so motivated to grow the sport in their community and they want to pass on the knowledge, and it's just so cool to see that there's so many people who are trying to grow the sport. And I know that there were 80 spots for like 80 coaches, and it's fully booked. And that is so cool to see that there's so many motivated people who just want to grow the community.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think a lot of like momentum will probably happen where if women are excited about playing around it and then they go to coach it, then they kind of get more women playing. What advice and maybe like what's the challenge that you think might happen if say we just start over? I think there's different communities that have very different imbalances. Um, what kind of what's the value of going to a tournament and seeing that there's this women's division for you and for other people that come join where years ago you didn't have that opportunity to play? What's maybe that unlocking and maybe getting more people excited about in the women's division for Germany?
I feel like it's like now, as there's like beginner women's divisions, it's so much easier for them and for their like self-confidence to sign up, because if you know, okay, there's other women who signed up for the tournament who are also beginners, we won't get beaten up and like lose too bad or something. And I feel like that motivated a lot of girls to just go to the tournaments, because if there's only one division, which had been back then,
Mm.
you'll win a game by like 15-1 or 15-0 or like whatever, or like 21-0. And now with all these divisions, it's getting so much more equal. And for everyone, it's just so much more fun to play someone your level, because it's not fun if you win 15-0. And it's also not fun if you lose 15-0. So I feel like the tournaments and the enjoyment of the players just grew so much. And yeah, I feel like people don't overthink their choices of signing up for a tournament that much as it used to be.
That's great. Thinking less about like getting more women playing around it, maybe more women leading communities. We talked about like coaching opportunities, and I know like for even like leadership within NGBs and even like there have been like women representing on really like every board. I'm curious, what's the importance of having like those different perspectives in your opinion, at least? It's okay. It doesn't need to be like super like empirical, and having that representation on leadership within Roundnet Germany or within local communities.
Um, that's a hard question. I feel like we might think about some other things without just how you name it. Um, what's the name for that?
Well,
I'm
I guess
missing.
like we don't know how important it is if we don't like. It's hard to measure, right? Like I
Yeah.
think it's a hard question because we don't know. For me, like with US Around, we've had women like supporting and like leading on the board, and we've also had now we don't have any women's Roundnet players perspective in leadership on the board, and so
Mm-hmm.
we're now missing that perspective that we used to have.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's like just my experience. My curiosity is um, like what might be missing if we don't have that. Because for me, I don't know exactly what I'm missing, but I just know we don't have all the same perspectives coming in to solve problems and to grow the sport. The same way that having more women's divisions you mentioned was really helpful because it means that
Mm-hmm.
there's like more safe spaces for women to try Roundnet and then grow and develop. Like that was something that probably came from the feedback of, hey, we didn't really like playing games 15-1.
Mhm.
So like, are there other things that might be missing, or maybe we don't even know, but just need to make sure we have those diverse perspectives?
I just feel like you're getting a new perspective, as you said,
Okay,
of things, and just yeah, we might think about different things than the men would do, and it's hard to generalize it though,
sure. Oh
because
yeah,
every individual is different and every individual
totally agree.
thinks differently. Um, but I wish women would try to get more into it and to maybe represent like an NGB or something. And yeah, I wish, but I'm a bad example because I'm not doing it as well. But because of
Everyone's got their work life balance. Yeah, everyone's got their
time
round work life
issues.
balance, as it were. Yeah, I totally hear that. I guess.
But I wish more women would do it.
Yeah. Well, do you think like there's like some gap where maybe people feel like, oh, like that's like so much work, or like do you think there's any other things that are holding like it's honestly it's all people. It's not just women who are like
Mhm.
like you said, like you might be able to do a little more, I can do more, but everyone can do a little more. But in particular, just having a wider range of perspectives to solve the problems. Like, is there anything that might be holding people back from contributing?
Yeah, time is I think a huge factor, but that counts for both men and women. So
Mm.
it's a bad excuse. Um, I don't really know. Like for me, it might be insecurities about making decisions and just being a people pleaser to yeah, be
I
sure that
struggle with the same things,
yeah.
but yeah, whether like I don't know, maybe like stereotypically, like they're like you mentioned, like some women's players might feel a little intimidated playing in like a
Mhm,
higher level division at first. If like something similar might be happening around, hey, do you want to help be putting on the tournaments for your local club? And if that's like a responsibility you want to take on and have everybody maybe critiquing you. Um,
mhm.
is the culture, when you say like having the pressure and like of second guessing yourself and people pleasing, is the culture for like local leadership, community leadership within, whether it's the Gießen Club or other clubs you've been a part of, is there an expectation that like we know people are volunteering? Like what kind of relationship do clubs and your clubs have with the local leadership in Germany?
I feel like it's kind of super appreciative. Is that a word? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
people really appreciate your work.
that's great.
um, it's it like it hasn't been always the case, especially when we started like actually doing trainings and not just play, because people had to understand that it's important that you actually drill and actually like try to improve on stuff and not just play. But I feel like now people really appreciate the effort people put into the clubs and into the communities. And especially here in Marburg, they're so like I don't have time, like enough time to contribute as much as I wish I could. But there's I don't know, like 10 super motivated people, and what they do is amazing. And yeah, I feel like everyone appreciates them and is so thankful of them for them that they do it, because you always have to sacrifice your time and thoughts and put so much work in, and you don't get paid for it. So it's amazing that people do it.
Yeah, as when you think about like the volunteerism of it, I know I think about this a lot myself around like, hey, you can only volunteer so much or for so many hours. Are there discussions around, and is this even like what the structure is with sport clubs in Germany? Is there an ability to have club leaders become like, get like stipends or have like part-time roles where that can develop and, that appreciation can also become more than just, kind words.
Hmm. I feel like it's kind of hard in
Mhm.
Germany, but what like I know that it's possible to get paid by hours when you
Okay.
coach, but you have to have like like a certificate for being able to do it.
Okay.
But then you'll get paid for like 2 hours of training, which is, I mean, better than nothing.
Better
But
nothing. Yeah. So maybe a little bit more work to go into that from like
yeah.
how like coaching certifications work, like you
Hmm.
mentioned for training before. People
Yeah.
go, they get the certification, then they get paid for their trainings with their clubs. That sounds great.
Hmm.
I got to attend the training in Frankfurt, and
Hmm.
they made me substitute teach for a little bit. But yeah,
Hmm.
if I could like do the training and then get paid like 5-10 euros for a little bit of work, I don't know if it was that valuable. I hope it was maybe worth like 2 euros.
It's kind of
So,
close, I think. Yeah.
but yeah, that would be super cool. I think just those small ways. For me, I'm curious how like you said you've been playing for a long time relative to the German community. Um, that there's this really fun thing happening, but at the end of the day, like if there's not enough people helping lead the clubs and like push the sport forward, making sure there's opportunities for women to grow in the sport, um, things start to just slow down. Do you have any like concerns or maybe like wishes for how that continues to like grow and develop? I know like the Bundesliga for Roundnet Germany is amazing and awesome, and it's brought in like new partnerships and things like that. If there's just hopes for how much hard work goes into that to have that be done even better and more like legitimately over time. Do you have any I don't know wish list like items around general Roundnet Germany things to just like keep pushing the sport forward?
I just wish that, yeah, as you said, that like the more helping hands there are, things will grow better. And I just hope that, especially, there will be more girls playing, because there's
Mm.
still so much more men playing than women. But yeah, the Bundesliga is a fun concept. It's like a squad competition throughout the whole winter season, the indoor season in Germany. And yeah, I just wish that people put in work and really enjoy putting in the work, because it's never fun when you spend so much time and hours, and people don't appreciate your work. So tomorrow, everyone goes to their coach and says, "Hey, thank you for coaching us," and
That's your call to action,
maybe gets him a
yeah.
chocolate. Because I feel like appreciation is really important. And yeah, what Ronnie Germany does is insane. There's some people who put an insane amount of hours
Mm,
into that project, and like it's because of them that Germany grew so fast and so cool, and that there's so many divisions now. And I can't thank them a lot, like enough,
mm.
because yeah, also at Worlds, what they did is insane, with their organization, with the Bundesliga, with all the tournaments, the infrastructure in Germany, also with the player zone, like the German Fuego. It's insane. It's crazy what they did for the sport.
Yeah, I a lot of the things that I've like studied over the past couple of years, just in my like community building work, is how do we do these things, but fit it to the constraints that we have in the U.S. around like our geography being different and a lot of other like different like cultural things. Um, so yeah, definitely like a lot of inspirational stuff. I had a really good chat with Philip earlier
Mhm.
a while back about the player zone and just how I feel like the player zone, and I keep saying this like to everybody that'll listen, that like the player zone being a Roundnet Germany tool lets you guys do the Bundesliga the way you want to do it.
Mhm.
Versus like if you don't have like the infrastructure and the tools, then like you can't get as much progress. So kind of all like compounds on itself. I guess like the point to like really emphasize there is like appreciation is really good and all that, but also just like having an understanding of how this is all happening. Like it's not just magic. Like
Mhm.
it's a lot of hard work happening. I think some people maybe just like they maybe just started playing Roundnet today in Germany and they're like, wow, we have all these things, but they didn't just happen, which is really a good thing to I think just always remember, no matter how long you've been playing, is just reminding
Mhm.
yourself like, wow, like MGL is crazy. Uh,
Yeah. No, when they introduced the player zone, it has to be like in 2020 or
mhm.
like end of 2019, maybe. I'm like, I really don't know.
I
Like,
remember reading about it, but I don't remember when it was.
mhm.
But yeah.
And like back then at tournaments, you always had to go, like after every game, you had to go to the tournament director and tell them, "Yo, that score was 21-17," and so they put it in. And now in the player zone, every player has his own profile, and then you can see all the statistics from like every tournament in Germany ever. And then there's tools like, it's called like round match, so you can basically Tinder for tournament partners, or there's like this chat room for accommodation, so people can host people for like um driving by car together to like to a tournament, and you can chat if there's people from the same region like you, and all these tools. It's insane what they did.
Yeah.
It just made Roundnet life so much easier.
What advice would you have for like a women's player who's wondering, okay, I see there's like these communities being built in Germany and
Mhm.
other countries around the world, and I see that there's like work to be done. Like, what would you recommend for them and how they go about getting involved?
It's always, I think, the best if they just talk to other people who put work into communities, because it's kind of easy, I think, to find people who are doing the same in Germany. And then at like tournaments, they can always help. If it's just like setting up all the nets, or help with the organization of like the local tournaments, and they can just come up to the tournament directors and just ask if there's help needed, or like helping hands, or like sell drinks or something, just anything, help running the tournament, and then maybe ask what's needed, and just be in contact with everyone. I think that helps a lot. And if they have questions, or if they want to build a community, they can always, especially through Instagram, it's really helpful to find people or to just ask. And I feel like everyone is so helpful with things like that. Also, Run at Germany helps wherever they can, and help running tournaments and coaching them. Yeah.
There's a very, very like nice big menu. You can just choose any of those things you want to do if you want to help out. So just you can rewind to what Alexa just said and just pick one. Just pick one thing. It's pretty easy. Just pick one thing and just try it out and see if you like it. If you like it, do more of it. And if you don't, just pick something else on the menu.
Yeah. Now I feel like, especially at local tournaments, there's never enough people helping.
Mm.
And it helps so much if people just help, like setting up nets, or putting them like on the bags after the tournaments. And it's the small things like that
Yeah.
which
Everyone in
are
my local community
annoying
that
if you
yeah.
have to do it by yourself. If you have to do it all by yourself, it's the most annoying thing ever.
Mm.
But if everyone just sets up one net, it's just like so quickly done. And it starts there. It starts with just helping running pickup games,
Yeah.
even.
Everyone in my local community that does those things. Y'all know how much I appreciate
Mhm.
getting the extra set of hands. A lot of people just say like, what can I do to help? Which is um, yeah, it makes me very happy because I think one of the biggest challenges too is not only like is there a lot of work to be done, but it's also sometimes scary when there's only so many people that are helping, and then there's just a chance that we don't have enough people. If we don't have the right people there, like you mentioned, like just go run a pickup game. If you're not going to run the pickup game, then I'm not going to come to any pickup games. Is
Mhm.
kind of a scary thing that happens in some local communities, some local clubs. Is you really awesome, capable leaders, but then um, they're not able to make sure that there's other leaders built up around them too. And I think like in that way, everyone has to be like a leader in some way. So
Mhm.
I'm
I
super
agree.
passionate about that. We all need to be Roundnet leaders in different ways, I think.
Mhm.
Um, amazing. Well, I really appreciated this chat. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on that we didn't get to cover yet?
Yeah, when I started doing that Instagram account, I felt so embarrassed having like 20 followers. Like, oh, like who would watch me playing Roundnet? But then it just blew up, and it was so fun, and it gave me so many opportunities. So what I want to say, long story short, is people should just post like reels of them playing and fun stuff, and you don't have to win the points to just have a good time on Instagram, and
I
to make the
totally agree.
sport more viral, and to get more people see it.
There's so much wrapped into that. I love all that. I think the two
It was a lot.
the two maybe three like big takeaways I get from that are one, like you joined the Reddit community, you brought your full self to it, just said like this is my how I express, like I lose points, which I totally can relate to also. Like anybody that's old enough to know do a barrel roll, like that was like all we did for a long time. It was just like falling on the ground and playing Roundnet. So however you want to express yourself, great. And then two, everybody wants something different out of Roundnet. For a lot of people, it's a really fun like social thing. It's really fun community you can get to be a part of. It's a way to get active, and like for a lot of people, it's also an excuse to travel and see new places. But it also can be a way to earn some money and have a small job or a bigger job, however you want to build it. So those like two goals, like whatever you want to get out of it, like just go into it, be yourself, and I think that's incredible. I'm gonna have to go do some combing now to figure out like some fun like cameo, whatever cameos you may have had with some very cool people just from being you on Instagram. But yeah, they'll getting the sport bigger. Obviously, social media is like a really amazing like discovery platform. So that's like one part of it. But I think tying it back to like the small like experiences, just like feeling like included and welcome is like a super important thing. And that's amazing that you feel like you've been part of pushing that forward. And I think a lot more people have the tools and the ability to do it. So hopefully this is encouragement to help contribute again, like bring you, but then make it a place where other people want to also be part of it.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything to add.
Amazing. Well, I really appreciate you making time. I know it's very late in European time, so this is a lovely chat. And I will link all the check all the things out below. If you got this far in the video, comment Vice World Champion, because Alexa is a 2-time Vice World Champion. Want to see how many of y'all are. Kind of a weird thing, but you're going to out that you watch this whole video, which means you have to go out and then do something because Alexa told you to. So comment Vice World Champion in this video. And if you want any help getting involved with stuff, you can reach out to Alexa, me, lots of people in your own communities. I'm sure we can point you in the right direction.